The Crossover is a book consisting of multiple poems that have one interlocking story. The author of the novel is Kwame Alexander. Kwame Alexander is an award-winning author who was born in Reston, Virginia. The story is about Josh and JB. Playing basketball was the common hobby that brought the two twins very close together. Josh is a basketball phenom. Their close friendship starts to decline after JB starts dating a girl who recently transferred to their school. Josh starts to become very jealous of this girl, who is named Alexis, because of the close relationship she has with his best friend and brother. Josh then decides to take out his anger on his brother, which causes a strong rift between the two brothers. The two of them do not speak to each other for a good amount of time, and Josh just wants JB to forgive him for his actions. Before the competition starts, Josh's father has a heart attack when playing Josh in a one-on-one game, and he is rushed to the hospital and his life is saved. Soon after, the father has another heart attack, causing him to pass away at the age of 39. This heartbreaking event causes the brothers to realize that family comes first and that family will always be there for one no matter what. In the crossover, the author, Kwame Alexander, shows the theme that negative events can sometimes end up with positive outcomes by frequently referencing important characters, symbols, irony, and figurative language examples. The setting of the rec center is significant to this story because it represents hard work and family bond. Throughout this story, the boys are always practicing their basketball skills and are always working to get better. When the father and two boys go to the rec center, it also works on the bond that they have developed. This is a place that is mentioned about many times throughout the story and is like a relaxation area for the father and sons. The setting of the hospital is significant because it shows how someone's life can change in the blink of an eye. During this story, Chuck, the man, Gull, who is also the boy's father, has lots of pains in the chest area. He believes he is fine, however, he ends up passing away from a massive heart attack. The heart attack was caused by hypertension, which is also what his father died of. The death of his father creates foreshadowing for Chuck, creating Chuck to not like hospitals and later die. The hospital represents pain and death to the family. A crossover symbolizes an unexpected occurrence in someone's life. This is shown in the story through the death of Filthy's dad. In basketball, a crossover can send someone falling into fear. A crossover is also a very swift movement that can totally change a basketball game by leaving the offensive player wide open. The death of Josh and JB's dad was a very unexpected occurrence to the family, much like a crossover move in basketball. This is because his heart attack sent the family into fear of losing their father. The father actually dying symbolizes when an offensive player scores after a crossover. However, when a player is crossed up in a game of basketball, that player has to continue to play the game. They cannot decide to stop playing the game after being crossed up. They have to continue to play in the game to help their team. This relates greatly to how Josh still played in the championship game, even though his father was in the hospital and had a great possibility of death. A basketball symbolizes the bond that the family shares. In the book, there are multiple pages where it says a basketball rule, but the rule has a further meaning than just a rule in basketball. For instance, one of the rules are, never let anyone lower your goals. Others' expectations of you are determined by their limitations of life. The sky is your limit, sons. Always shoot for the sun and you will shine. The real meaning of this basketball rule is to always follow your dreams, even if people tell you otherwise. If one follows their dreams, there is an unlimited amount of possibilities for them. The structure of the novel is free-flow poetry. The author chose this structure to make the story more interesting and more amusing to read. This style of poetry also emphasizes events and makes the plot more dramatic. The reasoning to use type of style is the fast-paced game of basketball is displayed through poetry. This is because a game of basketball has rhythm, like poetry. Every dunk is like an exclamation mark, and every three-pointer is a piece of figurative language. Using poetry assists the reader into understanding the importance of each scene where rhyme is used. There also is a major piece of irony in the story. It is extremely ironic how Filthy receives the MVP award. However, he did not play in the games for a good amount of the season. This is ironic because at the time JB was the only brother that was playing for the team. Filthy was suspended from the team for throwing a basketball at JB's nose. Even though he was suspended, he still won the MVP of the league over his brother. This is ironic because Filthy felt very saddened about his life at this moment, even though he received the MVP trophy. Winning an MVP trophy is usually a joyous occasion, but Josh was in great despair because of his actions leading to his suspension. Figurative language is also used in the novel Grealty. The quote, "His feet are the bank and I am the crook," is an extended metaphor. The first aspect of this metaphor is to compare Filthy to a thief. The other part is to compare the other player's ankles to a broken-into treasury. The meaning of this is to show the extent of the crossover and how Josh stole the defensive player's ankles. There are two major themes in the crossover. The first theme is that negative roadblocks in life could end up with a positive outcome. For example, Josh's dad having a heart attack and later dying was a terrible time in both of the brothers' lives. However, going through this trauma brought the two separated twins back together. At the end of the story, the two brothers started to become friends again. This traumatic experience of watching their father have a heart attack and later dying brought the two brothers back together by showing them family always comes first. In the book, a loss is inevitable, like snow in the winter. True champions learn to dance through the storm. This quote goes along with this theme because it is saying that bad events are destined to happen. But true champions learn to get through these hardships. Another theme is that perseverance is very important to achieve one's dreams. Josh shows many examples of perseverance in the story. For example, when JB became angry, Filthy never gave up in trying to renew their friendship and brotherly bond. Once Josh pegged the ball at his brother's face, he knew that he had made a huge mistake. Filthy became frustrated on a day-to-day basis because he was trying his hardest to apologize to JB. But nothing was working. Filthy never gave up in his goal at becoming friends with his brother again, and after the passing of their father, the boys' magical bond was back and better than ever. These two themes are important to today's society for a few reasons. For one, there are so many negative events that happen in today's society. However, people can learn to fight through these negative outcomes and see the positive in them. Also, having perseverance can help one achieve their dreams in today's society because there are many doubters in today's world. But having perseverance and not letting these harsh comments affect one can help dream chasers achieve their ultimate goals. When one thinks of a young adult novel that displays themes of great perseverance and terrible outcomes becoming life lessons, the poem-based novel The Crossover should come to mind. The novel explores a middle school-aged boy who is completely infatuated with the game of basketball. His father was a professional player in the NBA and overseas. Everything was going great in Josh, also known as Filthy's life, when he suddenly became very envious of his brother's girlfriend. Josh felt like his brother, JB, was not spending enough time with him. He took out his anger on his brother by throwing a basketball right at his nose. This caused an uneasy rift between the once too close brothers. Out of nowhere, their father and role model dies of a heart attack. This very traumatic, terrible experience showed the two brothers that life needs to go on after a disaster and family comes first. Kwame Alexander shows these themes through many examples of figurative language, irony, symbols, and characterization. These writing risks help emphasize the meaning of the novel while amusing its audience. The novel is important in today's society because it teaches major lessons through a unique type of style. The lessons of family being priceless and getting over roadblocks are crucial life lessons for all generations. The Crossover is truly a once-in-a-generation story that will inspire children and adults alike for years to come.